Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to KeSPA Cup 2020. I'm Atlas, joined by Wolf, and a Merry Christmas or Christmas Eve to you wherever you are. Absolutely so happy to continually do this every single year. And Wolf, it's your first time.
Yeah.
First KeSPA-mas.
It's my first time doing KeSPA Cup. My mic is really far away from my mouth. First time doing KeSPA Cup for Christmas. I've done a lot of Christmas broadcasts over the years. It's been a few years, though, and I'm glad I get to spend it with you and all the people watching at home, and this really cool tree hat thing that we have here as well.
I brought a hat with me, but I didn't have one for Wolf, so we had to just make it a Christmas tree. So we've got something to celebrate the festive season. Whether you're experiencing Christmas with your loved ones or whatever you celebrate with your loved ones, or just hanging out with us on YouTube, that sounds absolutely fantastic to me. So glad you're here.
Yeah, with you guys. You don't have to spend it alone. And even if you're not alone, you could still spend it with us too.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you've got your grandparents over or something like that, and you got KeSPA Cup in the background on the TV while you're enjoying Christmas dinner. Maybe that's a great way to spend your Christmas.
If she only knew, if your grandmother only knew what you were doing on your phone at the dinner table right now, she would appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Two idiots with a Christmas tree hat about to bring you some sweet esports. We do. Speaking of the sweet esports, have a bit of an update. So Fred at Brion, there was a bit of a COVID situation that happened with their B team's director or coach. Everyone on the team has been tested. The main squad, no one has been infected by the virus, and no one has been in contact with anyone from KeSPA or VSPN. So us here at the studio are absolutely safe. So no things to worry about as far as the KeSPA broadcast is concerned. It was an isolated issue and has been taken care of, and thankfully all of the players are safe.
Yeah, it's good news for Christmas.
Indeed.
And, it's actually crazy how quickly, I mean, it's not really crazy for us, but I think for a lot of people it's crazy to know how quickly everyone was tested.
Yeah,
and how
right.
quickly the results have been given back that we can actually give you guys this news on the broadcast. But yeah, everybody's safe, everybody's good. KeSPA Cup continues.
Indeed. And we've got two best of threes for you today.
That's right.
As the round of 6 begins. However, there's only 4 teams at this particular part of said round because 2 of the teams have got buys. Of course, Dam1 and KT, both of them all the way through 4-0. Absolutely phenomenal performances from both sides. KT winning with even their academy roster, sort of just, I don't know what's happened. KT just seemed to be on a roll, and Dam1 are just gods of League of Legends at this point in time. It seemed like adding Khan made absolutely no difference to how extraordinarily dominant they were. So this is a team to keep your eyes on.
KT is getting people a little bit excited, myself included.
Don't say that. You just keep saying it. I know it's Christmas and I'm supposed to be, tolerant, but stop it.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how they continue to play throughout the rest of this tournament, how they play against some of the stronger teams they will face, not only in LCK, but also the rest of this tournament, because their group was the easier one, I think most would argue, to get out of 4-0. Like, Dam1's 4-0 and KT Rolster's 4-0. Definitely not equivalent.
No.
So,
yeah, the Group B was definitely not the group of death. In fact, one of the teams got eliminated early. Of course, Fred at Brion having to pull out. And then it was T1 Academy and Gen.G Academy. So not necessarily the high-octane group that you may have expected. Having a look at the nameplates, these are the groups as you saw. You can see that T1 was eliminated, but that was T1 Academy that was eliminated.
That's right.
For all of you who are excited about seeing T1 in the LCK, continue to be excited. Their elimination from KeSPA Cup was not necessarily indicative of how they're going to perform.
Yeah, Gen.G has also been playing their academy roster, but they made it into the round of 6, the playoffs. That's what the PO means there, and they will be playing against Hanwha Life later on. So essentially both second and third place teams from both groups play today. They didn't get that bye. The only reason I explain this 1,000 times is because it is confusing with the round of 6 terminology, but as you can see here, this is it visualized. The winners of today's matches will face off against Dam1 and KT, but not in that order. Obviously, the order is backwards.
Yeah, and so it's going to be within the same group that these best of threes are going to be held to decide who gets the right to go against the top team from the other group. So likely, we're going to see Hanwha Life versus Dam1, which will be a bit of a flashback to, the World's quarterfinals and, of course, the summer final for the LCK as well, because Hanwha do look very similar to DRX, especially in their AD carry and mid lane positions. But we're not going to be talking about Hanwha just yet. Our first match is going to be NONGSHIM Red Force versus Liiv Sandbox. And both of these teams are actually really interesting and really exciting to watch. I think that as far as what we learnt from Group A, these two teams were the ones that stood out to me as having a lot of potential and being teams to watch moving into the LCK.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, these are the teams in this group that were, you know, the most impressive next to Damwon, right? But we already knew what to expect from Damwon, even with Khan slotting into the top lane. NONGSHIM Red Force have been a really impressive team around Rich in a lot of ways, around Peanut as well. But Rich's ability to swap lanes quickly, macro, even in losing lanes, even in the Gangplank game he won where he was extremely down.
Yeah, he got dominated in that game.
Yeah, that was a nasty game for him, but he still was able to maximize value out of the Gangplank, still rotate correctly. And the macro play that we're seeing from this team is really, really good. And it's ironic when they played Twisted Fate that was actually the worst game of the group.
Yeah. I mean, that was getting their jitters out. Game number 1, Bay was doing some weird Messiah plays without having an active stopwatch and things like that, and just doing a little bit of casual inting. But that's absolutely fine. He did manage to turn it around and had some very good performances to follow that one up. Doctarm has always been great. Of course, formerly FaZe, the man that invented 200 years back in the KeSPA Cup. Last year, or this year, I think last year and this year at the same time, it was the 2019 KeSPA Cup, guys. It gets very confusing because we do go over the new year.
Yes.
For the finals. It will be on the 2nd of January for those playing at home.
I think everybody's ready to put a 1 on the end of what year it is currently.
I think so too. And done. A 1 and a done on the end of 2020. That would be absolutely fantastic. Liiv Sandbox, though, will be their opponents, and I look at this roster, and all I see is Croco.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what everybody is looking at with this roster, but Root has kind of solidified himself as the bot laner now over Leo. I don't think we'll see Leo at all today. And the team has a clear path they've been taking through the group, and I think how they'll probably approach this series as well, which is running double tank, having an AP jungler going in is Croco. He's usually playing the Nidalee or the Talia if possible. He did play, obviously, that one really impressive game of Olaf as well.
Yep,
but
even though it was a loss. Yep.
The drafting is a little bit predictable. It's a little bit straightforward what they've been doing, but it has been working well enough for them to get them here. And the question is, do they diversify this evening against NONGSHIM Red Force, because they've obviously played against them already, or do they stick to the plan, what they've been prepping and what they've been playing? That's the big question. I think NONGSHIM has this awesome opportunity to just build counter drafts going to this match today and be well prepared for the constant double tank, the Alistair priority we've been seeing from Liiv Sandbox. So I hope we see some more diversity here, Atlas, because otherwise might see a 2-0 here.
Well, we'll see where they're going to be focusing, whether it's going to be the early game with the Renekton's and things like that, or whether the Ornn is going to crop up yet again. Renekton's a no-no, as NONGSHIM have just destroyed him immediately.
Liiv Sandbox has played Renekton 3 of 4 of the games they've played so far in this tournament. It's been their first pick almost every single time as well. It's their, highest priority for the top lane, so very nice reaction here from NONGSHIM right away to take that from Summit.
Yep, the Graves being banned against Peanut is definitely a good one as well. Peanut was dominating on that if you were watching Worlds, especially in the play-ins.
And in this tournament.
Yeah,
it's been his highest pick, and their highest blue side first pick priority has been the Graves, just like Damwon, so it's a smart choice. But this leaves up in the Samira, so big question marks here about that one. And taking the Olaf away means, okay, you're targeted Peanut, you've taken away his best jungles.
Yep, Doctarm's going to show us the 300 years, man. This is what we were expecting. Liiv Sandbox do have an opportunity to pick away things like the Aatrox and grab themselves Nidalees in the jungle, things like that. But the Alistair priority, and there is the Kai'Sa as well. So we've seen a bit of both of these, but I do like Kai'Sa in the preseason at the moment.
They have gone for this extremely high Alistair priority. It's their 5th Alistair pick. They've picked it every single game. Effort has only played Alistair throughout this entire tournament. 5 for 5 now, so picking up early here before the second ban phase, but also getting some flexibility for the top lane. As we saw, Rich gets his Aatrox here.
Yep, this is synonymous with Rich. He was very, very, very good at Aatrox. In fact, he had 3 champions that he was extraordinarily good at. It was the Lucian, the Aatrox, and the Jace. In 2020, I think that he might stretch his champion pool to about 5 champions moving into the next season, but we'll just have to see. There's a Rakan.
Okay.
Very interesting. This is going to be a lot of extra CC, and that's their decision to try and deal with this Alistar.
Yeah, and the normal response from most teams actually dealing with how Liiv Sandbox has come into this has been kind of a support Galio style, and this is similar in different ways, obviously with the charm that can help you really disengage in those late game team fights. Can be nice for the lane as well. As Orianna will come in here for Fate, it looks like he's played mostly Syndra, and despite Syndra being open here, he's going to take the Orianna. So we're seeing a bit of a change actually so far for Liiv Sandbox, not just playing into that late game Syndra and having, you know, the AP jungler come through with that early Renekton. And part of that obviously comes from the ban here on blue side. But this is going to be the most unique game of Liiv Sandbox so far.
Yeah, even though it does have the Alistar once again, like you were mentioning. Galio's still going to be banned here away from Bay. He had a decent game on it a little while back, but not going to be aimed towards Kellen in the bottom lane or anything like that. We'll see where NONGSHIM are going to focus. I believe top lane is going to be an option for them. And Jace is going to be taken away first from Summit. And I think limiting Summit's options into the Aatrox is going to be important. Jace Cannon could be what they decide to take away, for example. Yeah,
not to mention Rich is probably just about tired of having bad lane matchups.
Yeah, probably.
Even though he's been doing great with them. There's the Silas removal here that has been rising in popularity, especially against Orianna, but taken out now. The question is, do we see that Cannon ban here? And if not, what's the idea?
Yeah, and what's the what are the other options top lane to be taken into the Aatrox? Camille is a decent one.
Gragas?
This is something that actually dominated Rich as well.
Gragas is available as well. The Camille gets taken away here, but you know, not a lot of great synergy with Orianna, I feel, in late game team fights. Like the Shockwave and the Exploding Cast don't always work together. Jarvan, we've seen this a lot in China recently.
Oh, yeah.
And it does lend itself towards Krako's playstyle, you know? It really does. Aggressive jungle that he's going to look to get picks with early. Works well with Orianna, with CC.
Yep. Also, yeah, great ball carrier, right? So going to be able to bring those shockwaves into the team effectively. This is a no-brainer, pretty much, on the side of NONGSHIM, with the Syndra being hovered. They do know what the mid lane matchup's going to be, though, so Bay could get a little bit more experimental, and it is going to be the Echo that's going to be locked in. This could be going into the hands of Peanut, just buying a bit more time to work out what they want to give over to Bay, or just allow some flexibility in their draft so that they can decide who's going to be playing the Echo and who's going to be playing what. But here's the Zoe, and so that is going to put Echo all the way into the jungle most likely. Okay.
Set also being considered here. And this could be, I mean, it's pretty unlikely with Bay. It could be mid-set, could be jungle set.
Yeah,
but,
right.
They are going to go with the Syndra. I think the Syndra is the safest pick here in this case. And it is going to be that Gragas I was talking about here. And I think Gragas can be good with when you have Jarvan and the Orianna together.
Yeah, it's sort of like anti-synergy, but sometimes synergy at the same time. It just requires a bit more coordination.
When your wombo combo type stuff goes wrong with that, then you can kind of use them to disengage as well. Or you can cut somebody off and then set up for a nice grab. And it is going to be the Gangplank that Rich actually got totally owned on. Still won the game.
Still won the game, exactly. That's the main thing.
But yeah, this is a pretty decent matchup if you play it carefully into the Aatrox. It is Rich's Aatrox we're talking about here. I don't think we're going to see one of those top laners dominate the other, but you do have to play really carefully, I think, if you're Summit, with Peanut on this Echo as well. So I think that's going to be kind of the more passive side of play here for Liiv Sandbox, and tell me more about the bot lane, the KeSPA and Alistar. Scary, though, against the Samira. I feel like NONGSHIM got everything they wanted here.
Yeah, they did. I feel like the coordination in team fights from Liiv Sandbox is going to be much easier. You know, this is like a let's press our R buttons and jump into the circles together type team composition, which works very easily for teams that haven't yet really got their synergy together. Just grab a press R comp and plug and play, and it's probably fine. So late game team fights, I do like what Liiv Sandbox have put together, but like you were talking about, a lot of comfort on the side of NONGSHIM. And Doctun's on Samira, so, I mean, there is a chance that he just pops off and wins the game by himself.
Yeah, certainly so. He's probably going to build that Immortal Shield Bow, as has been the way. And
yep.
If the fight goes really poorly for the side of Liiv Sandbox, they're kind of out there. They're kind of stuck, where Khan's got a lot of potential to kind of come in and sweep things up. And with Syndra's late game stuns, it can get really nasty, Atlas, in those late game team fights. If you miss the wombos, if that shockwave doesn't go your way, if you don't have that Jarvan fall off the way you wanted it to be.
Yeah. And I think that Aatrox and Samira team fighting together is also just terrifying, the amount of AoE damage that you do have to deal with. So, you know, if Rich and Dr. can get themselves coordinated, it will be a scary game. See what happens. We hop into game 1.
You'll have to see that game 1 on the screen. It's the first series of the KeSPA Cup.
Yeah, exactly. This is exciting.
My first best of in League of Legends.
Achilles will be very happy because he was trying to say series all week. And unfortunately, they were best of ones.
I was too, a little bit on the first day.
Let's jump into our first best of one series. Oh, yeah. We're just trolling. Sorry, Seth. Hope you're having a wonderful Christmas with your family.
He no doubt is.
Well, with his wife anyway. Not able to get back, unfortunately, to America. Like a lot of us, difficult to go home when we're expats in Korea.
Yeah, I had my first Christmas since I moved to Korea last year. So glad I got that one before what happened in 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, I managed to get home, but I was casting KeSPA Cup. So immediately afterwards, went back, visited my family. And then in January came back to Korea and was never allowed to leave ever again.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with, you know?
It's a
good
good place
better
to
than not being able to get back to Korea.
Yes, it's a good place to be.
I think so too. I think so too.
Also, Rich did pick the best Aatrox skin.
Yep.
Just need to point that out.
Jaeger, the Jaeger Aatrox,
yep.
which I learned from Pacific Rim. Thank you very much, Wolf, for looking that one up for me.
It also means hunter.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
What does kaiju mean then?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay. Thanks, man.
I'm like, Kaizo's the Super Mario Maker of things that like nobody wants to play, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Well, right now in this game, you know, you can see the top matchup. I think the top matchup is kind of going to dictate a lot of where the pressure ends up being, because it's not a matchup that Rich necessarily dominates, but so far he's having a good go at it. And Summit does have to play passively because there's, you know, Gangplank's not, he's not locking anybody down with CC and beating him up super hard if Rich makes a mistake, so.
Yeah, I mean, the Croco and Summit synergy will be there because with the passive, if you manage to line up ganks with Gangplank actually having his passive, it does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Especially early on, so. You know, Gangplank, you know, often you expect him to sit back and shoot and do a bit of that action, but
this is actually
can be scary. Speaking of which,
yeah, he's traded.
Rich, you need to not be turning around right now. The flash forward, that's the passive we were talking about. Rich is dead. First blood. So simply, and sometimes I just love when I talk about something and immediately it happens.
Yeah, I mean, he traded really well, Summit did, and made it look like he was going to overextend, and then Rich felt pretty good. And then that's when Croco rotates up as we have a bit of a trade down here. And
yep, Effort decided to do that and didn't really win in that situation.
No. But yeah, I mean, if you, in that situation too, if Croco doesn't come up, like Rich can actually kill him potentially if he hits all of his CCs, but it's like really, really close, right? And Rich is the kind of player who does step over the line.
Ooh, Effort doing his best Martyr impression, coming through at level 3 to try and grab Bay. There's the flash pulp. Oh, catches him after the flash. Bouncy castle. And Effort soaks up as many turret shots as he feels like, and that's a very comfortable second kill. Liiv Sandbox are popping off.
Yeah, this is a very different look for them too, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of Nidalee in the jungle. We've seen Olaf, but this is a different type of aggressive jungle we're seeing from Croco. And he's just abusing the lane priority, right? Goes and kills Rich in the top lane, and then heads, you know, to mid where he can get that extra catch as well with all the extra CC. That was a really nice rotation as well. Yep, from Effort.
Bit of a classic Rich overextension as we have a look at this replay.
Yeah, see, he misses his second Q there, and then it's like, wait, why are you even second Qing?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the thing, is like he can turn that trade around if Croco doesn't come, but he doesn't even have a ward in the river. And this is just a really nice setup with Effort and Croco together. Flash forward, overrise, and then the flag goes through.
Yeah, and Summit is now going to die. Peanut going to turn up. Phase Drive Resonance, actually predicting a flash that isn't actually available. Very odd, but Peanut just making sure that he's in position, and they do guarantee that kill. So an answer back here by NONGSHIM, And giving some gold over to Rich is definitely a good thing as Croco is making his way down bottom lane. Kellen says, nope. Even though they didn't have vision, just checking some tells from Effort, I believe.
You know, it's a Croco game when there's always something happening in the early game. Effort loves to be aggressive on this Alistar as well. I think it's part of the reason why they've picked it so far. I mean, it's great for running double tank comps, and that's what they have been running besides this game with their top laner, but with Summit. But in this case, just roaming. I don't think Kellen is going to be able to do much about this.
Nope. Didn't collect Smite, and does have Guardian, so can't even collect Smite.
Nope.
With a unsealed spellbook that some Rakans do like to go with. It's a good stun there from Bay, but barely gets through the shield, as we're going to have a look once again at the top lane replay.
Looks like Summit just overextending there, trying to shoot Rich in the face, and
Rich actually getting a perfect combo there as well.
Yep.
As Peanut, I believe, did something very strange. He still had vision in the brush, but it was not flash. Don't know whether he necessarily needed it, but
when you get
still
that
good.
When you get that really early sheen for Gangplank in this matchup, you feel like you're just supposed to win super hard all the time, and then you start spamming spells and trying to hit that Aatrox. That's when they catch up with you.
Yeah. You're not very tanky.
You're not tanky.
Just a sheen? Yeah.
You're a glass cannon. Or glass sword, perhaps.
Glass pistol?
Yeah.
And a sword. Both of those. Sometimes a toy sword.
When you start
which skin.
When you start thinking about why items in League of Legends make the champions stronger, you go down that rabbit hole. It gets
it does get a little bit confusing. Like, why does this Hextech biscuit that Peanuts picked up make him stronger? I'm not entirely sure. A small medallion. He's probably got enough medallions using the Louis Vuitton skin right there. As Peanuts just going to smite away the Rift Scuttler.
Always a feels good man to the smiter in this case.
Mm-hmm. Effort moving down. Root's back in the lane here as well. So, you know, no issues for Liiv Sandbox at the moment. NONGSHIM Red Force still behind in gold by just a little bit. But, I mean, their mid-game's still going to be very strong. They have so much pick potential if they are able to get these skirmishes working. Rich was comboing very, very well previously. Gets another couple there. As I believe that Umbral Dash will be available pretty soon if he wants to go any more aggressive. Really has got himself back into this lane quite nicely.
Yeah, he has. And, I mean, even in CS as well, taking a slight lead even. And the river is warded in favor of Summit, and he's still playing really respectfully, but you can see Croco is starting to make his way over.
Yep.
While
Peanut getting in there, not going to find the stun, but Effort's going to go down very low. Only level 5, so no Unbreakable will. And there's a very happy Penguin from Peanut as he heads back into the river. So 2-2, and we're pretty close to being tied up between these two teams gold-wise as well.
Yeah. This is a really awkward moment for Croco as well because the timing doesn't work out for him to try to make something happen on the top side. He's just got his rocks. Rich stepped out of the lane, warded that Herald, as we're going to see this again. Dom going in, Kellen all the way through.
Yeah, no quickness required. Great grand entrance, and it's all pretty elementary for these guys. And Peanut getting a start like this is actually very, very good. Croco was well and truly on his way, but 1-0-1 now for both junglers. And Dark Harvest starting to stack up here for Peanut as well, who has started on his blue buff. This Rift Herald is going down relatively low. Rich is going to have to flash to get out of there. Peanut was just kind of ignoring him as blue buff's taken.
This is a big rotation up for Liiv Sandbox. Everybody's coming in.
Yeah, Bay's moving on over. That's some decent damage, but Rich just dies immediately, just a little bit too early. Pulling the trigger as there is the ulti out of the gangplank. That's going to zone them away. And the Rift Herald goes over to Liiv Sandbox very comfortably. A little bit of a misplay there from NONGSHIM. Rich going in a little bit earlier than he should have without flash.
Yeah, you know, you feel like if you're Rich in this case, you feel really frustrated too because I'm not even done yet here. What?
Peanut just getting thrown into his blue buff.
Okay.
Effort's pretty low, but Kellen has to flash. Battle Dance comes in. Effort flashes after him. Peanut gets himself a Dark Harvest stack, so that's pretty worth.
This is pretty nice for Duckdom meanwhile. Just getting some pre-farm down here under turret. But Rich warded that. You can see the ward fading away just now here. And then he thought he could come down here and deny Croco's.
Ooh, that Time Winder was pretty cute from Peanut.
This fight just never ends.
Yeah.
There's nothing to fight for anymore, guys.
It's over. Shelly's already dead.
It's gone. It's gone. Just let it go.
Well, I mean, Let It Go is a pretty good song.
It is.
It
is
so
very seasonal. Peanut steals another buff. It's going to be the red one this time. Refresh that.
Yeah,
and
Croco challenging smite as well.
Yeah,
as,
you can't be here.
Oh, these time winders starting to really hurt. That extra blasting rod. Fate pretty close to having that shockwave back available, but doesn't have it just yet. It's still not level 6, as the trample will not affect the grand entrancing Rakan.
He's been roaming so much that he's lost a lot of passive minion experience.
Indeed.
But he's about to hit it.
Looks like Divine Sunder at the summit. Coming through pretty quickly, just needs to put that one together. As Rich is well and truly behind when it comes to the items, just has his not Ninja Tabis and the makings of a Pahage.
Pahage, indeed.
I like phonetic spellings.
You know, the Pahage is pretty good on Aatrox nowadays, I'd say. I like it a lot. I do miss the old icon as we've discussed before, but
yeah, me too. That one confuses me because it just doesn't look similar.
It looks like a new item to me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's a different hammer, but not really.
It's funny because it sort of is exactly the same, like same background color and stuff like that, but it still just looks different enough to confuse the heck out of me.
It looks like it's the 2020 model, not the 1982 model. Like
yeah, exactly.
It's the same model, but it's like a different year, you know?
Yeah. Like they stole it from, E.T. On the Atari. No, it's not that bad.
Well, I mean, it's classic. I like it.
Yeah,
I like old things.
Yeah, you are a fan of the nostalgia trip, and I'm also a big fan of it. Peanut's got his dash cannon completed. First mythic to be put together by a player in this game. So Peanut pretty happy with how things are going at the moment. Turret plates falling down here on the bottom side as well, as Root's going to get tagged by a Q. He's not going to be too worried about it. Faye still has his ultimate available. As you can see, some orbs sitting here on the ground. Croco with Herald in hand, seeing what he can do. Stun going to come down onto Effort here. He's finally level 6 and does have the Unbreakable Will available. Croco's moving down though, and here's the Cannon Barrage. Docdom trying to get damage in here. There's the Shockwave. Docdom just dives into it. Ulti comes out. Croco's going to survive as Peanut doesn't find the Time Winder. Croco trying to get out of here, but isn't able to. Rich trying to tidy up what was a very messy situation for NONGSHIM. Now Summit trying to run, but he's weirdly tanky at this stage of the game. And does flash his way out.
Gets away.
That's the couple of health items that really has got him in there.
Yeah, the Candle Gem as well he's got. He's just living through. Well, living the dream, you could say, as
Indeed.
Fate gets out of here. Well, that's going to be a Drake. Finally going over to NONGSHIM side, the Infernal Drake.
Yep.
It's pretty good for their comp, but not amazing.
We're going to be checking the replay out pretty soon. Keep your eyes on Docdom, who I believe dashed into a Shockwave. Just suboptimal. We're going to see it teleported in the mid lane first, though, as there's a headbutt pulve out of Effort. Wants to get that trample stun, but isn't going to find it, as Bay is going to get shot in the back of the head by a Gangplank. And Shelly is going to put her noggin into this outer turret in the mid lane. So a couple of extra plates going over just before they do retire for the evening.
Not the most impactful mid-turret to grab for the comp they have. They don't have, crazy siege champ. They're not running Zoe or anything like that. But we'll take the gold. Very happy with that.
Yep. Do like what Peanut's been able to do this game. Has really been messing with Croco's jungle.
I don't know, and I guess we're going to take a look at this now, but we don't have the items. I don't know if he actually had the Immortal Shield before this. I don't think he did.
I don't think so either, actually. I think he just had a little quiver.
But he was playing like he did. If you watch Docdom here.
Yeah,
he goes
the
right
dash
into it.
Into the Shockwave. Bad news bears.
Yeah, he definitely didn't have it, so.
Yeah.
He has it now, but,
Means that next team fight could be much more scary, especially if he doesn't dash into a Shockwave. That will be very, very powerful. So, Rich not able to get that last auto off, and the flash out there from Summit.
Playing Samira is kind of weird because you do have to eventually just kind of get in there. It's not like a lot of the other marksmen where you're kind of always at mid to long range for most of the fight.
Yep.
You kind of got to put yourself into the fight, but that's exactly why the Shockwave can be quite detrimental to your health. Absolutely.
Especially coming from one with, where Fate's been farming very, very well. About 10 CS ahead of the clock at the moment here at the 14.5-minute mark. And starting to build towards some big old items.
Yeah, his tier's getting far along too.
Yep. think he should have his Ludens pretty soon if that's the route that he decides to go. A few different options though. Of course, you can go Liandry's if you feel like it.
I think he'll probably go Ludens in this case, but I think both are pretty viable.
Yep. I think that both Bay and Fate are doing the same thing as far as that's concerned.
I mean, they're both basically like these champions that shoot out orbs and...
Yeah, it's just balls. You know, balls in the mid lane.
Yep. It's ping pong going on.
Knock up there under root, but Kellen just having fun. Shield bow, like you were talking about, some steel caps coming through pretty soon as well here for Dr.
Yeah, unfortunately for Root, his item power spike is just a few more minutes of gameplay away, whereas the shield bow up here for Dr. is going to be quite nice.
Yep.
In the next 2 team fights play before Root gets the opportunity to have those online.
Yeah, it should be a Kraken Slayer for the KeSPA. Has been the most popular choice so far.
No doubt.
Can use the Gale Force if you like as well. But I think Kraken Slayer just has so much synergy with her empowered Q.
Especially with the comp.
Too good, yeah.
With the, like you said, kind of like the, okay, we haven't figured this out yet, let's all just do the press R buttons composition they're running.
Yep.
It does work really well with that. Get that big damage when the big CC comes through. We haven't really seen crazy combos just yet, because we haven't had the big 5-on-5 team fights. Have kind of been extended skirmishes. But in the late game, that's what they can hope for, is those big fights.
Yep. It was double Leandre's actually out of our mid laners.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't mind it.
No, I think it's fine. I like Leandre's as an item.
When you get the shockwave off and then Jarvan ults in, that can be a lot of extra damage.
Yep.
Kellen is going in.
Yeah, that's a big double knockup. Quickness comes down as well, but another shockwave comes out from Fate. Bay does find the stun as Kellen makes it out somehow. Peanut dashing on forward, had to ulti back into the fray, and will fall down. Doctum, though, he has the ulti, he has the shield bow. There's the double kill as the Dark Sphere comes down and immediately eradicates the 2 CC bots from Liiv Sandbox. And now Rich looking for the back of this pit. Summit not actually in the fight at all, apart from throwing down an ultimate, and that's the difference between a shield bow Samira and a not shield bow Samira.
Exactly. The we kind of called it right moments before that it's going to be a better fight. Also, the big engage there coming in from Kellen was quite nice. See the knock up into the charm. I'll watch him do it again here, just right over the wall. And when you don't get to have like a wombo or an instant blow up on the side of Liiv Sandbox, you lose a longer fight, especially when shield bow is ready, especially when Dr. is at full health here on the side of the fight, and then he goes in. Like, he ults at full health, so he's just not even afraid. Then he gets stunned, and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
The shield bow doesn't proc until like the fight's already over.
And he's still fine, just wandering out. Everything's A-OK. So 1-1-4 on the Samira now. We'll be able to go back and buy even more items. Let's see what he does decide to put together. I do really like the Bloodthirst that we saw yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, really strong. I think it might be Collector into Bloodthirst or something like that.
That's what I'm liking to see as well. Collector is just so good with her though, especially when you're popping ult in the middle of everybody.
Yep.
And then the Bloodthirster just keeps you alive even more and more.
Bit of a hex slash there from Effort, right in Kellen's face.
Bit of one, yeah.
This is going to be the Mountain Drake going over to Liiv Sandbox though. So a couple of Drakes for them, only one over on NONGSHIM's side, and they weren't really in position to challenge for that one, especially with Samira on the top side of the map and Summit with teleport available.
Pretty good Drakes for them, but I think if they had the Infernal, that'd be even better, obviously.
Oh yeah.
That's a great color commentary point. It's like, they got the good ones. If they had all 3 though, that would
it would be better if they had more, actually.
Yes. I mean, their comp has Effort is super tanky. Croco can be kind of tanky, but Lore Drinker. So Mountains.
Yep.
It's handy. It's handy. All right, but it's not.
I think Croco will be going full tank after this as well. So this this Jarvan's going to be pretty strong. And you know, the last time I saw a Jarvan was MLXG at All Stars, and he was extraordinarily strong. I wanted him to unretire.
He's been played a little bit in the Demacia Cup from when I've been peeking in.
Yep.
The Divine Sunder is done for Summit as well, and you know, with the more tanky items we're seeing coming in from Croco and the Divine Sunder, they do have some longevity in a team fight if they don't die to Samira just spinning through the team fight like a Beyblade.
Yep.
But if they live through that, you know, it's still a hard fight for them, but they're building towards more longevity. Whereas previously it was like, okay, if we don't kill somebody with the shockwave and do a follow-up effort pummeling his way in, it's just over. They're kind of building towards that longevity.
Well, Kellen's looking for a bit of a flank play here as Bay's going to move on in. Peanut in position as well. Doesn't have W out just yet. So not actually going to go for anything as Rich picks up this minion wave. He's got a Herald that he has to use pretty soon, actually. It's about 2/3 of its way through. Effort. Going to get a headbutt back onto Peanut there, but he's going to lose out on that trade as Rich rotates over. Samira will be able to take down that turret comfortably, so Docdom a bit more money in his back pocket.
Going trying to get in here.
Cataclysm comes down. This is the combo we were talking about. Bay goes golden, but I have a feeling he's just dead. Yeah, very comfortably taken down with command dissonance, and that's what this comp can do, right?
Yeah,
you can use that wombo combo just to get picks.
Exactly, it's pick-based, you know? I mean, this is not safe, though, where they are right now, even with the one-up. Summit's not here, and it's not a fight you want to take right here in the mid lane after using your most potent combo.
Yep.
Still on cooldown for quite some time.
These 3 ultis are definitely important to have up. As, okay, Peanut, he's going to have to ult out, does so.
This is actually really nice, though, for Summit. He's getting a lot of push done in the bot lane. Sure, you're gonna this Rift Herald's going to finish off your turret, but could be a lot worse. And pings keep coming down for Rich as he's trying to come down there and handle it, but a little bit too slow.
This mini wave is going to be eaten up, though, so it's just a shove into the turret, not actually the turret take. So that outer turret in mid lane is actually very valuable.
It's definitely a better trade
here for Sandbox, so not bad. Getting
combo.
that even though their mid laner falls.
Yep. The all they can get, you know, essentially, or is the wave pushed into the turret in that bot lane push.
Yep. Seraph's Embrace now completed for Fate. We've got that Kraken Slayer done for Root as well, so he's pretty strong. Collector done on Docdom's side. We'll see whether he does build into that.
A Bloodthirster.
Bloodthirster next, exactly. I like the idea of Collector on, you know, reset champion as well. Just feels real good. Get that extra monies.
Yeah, a lot of money. I mean, we've seen already a pentakill on Samira this tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Was that in the first Samira game that we had? I know it was
Yes,
Ghost,
I
so it
think
must have been day 1.
I believe so.
He quadred into Penta, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's a bit silly.
He got, yeah, that's right. I think in his first game he didn't quite get it, got stolen from, but then he got it later in the second game.
Give me a redo. Give me a redo on that one. Thank you very much, says Ghost.
Rich a little bit late to the party here, but this is just a push to try to grab the mid turret. He'll be here. Yep, on time. They're not even going to contest it. Totally fine.
All those buttons back available again, so you can see NONGSHIM giving them all the respect in the world.
And they basically have to, because in every fight that goes longer, they should have the advantage. That can change with the Kraken Slayer, but you know, unfortunately for Root, he kind of has to be in range enough to use it, and that's when he might not live very long, or get charmed, or there's a lot of things that can go wrong there.
Indeed. Ooh, Lich Bane done for Peanut. He's actually very, very strong now with the new Lich Bane.
And also awesome new icon.
Oh yeah, it's real rad. It reminds me of like a World of Warcraft epic item from like the Burning Crusade that has like really cool animations from space and stuff.
It's the coolest sword you could imagine, pretty much.
Yeah. It's real badass.
Like, give me a cooler sword. I'm waiting.
I don't know, Frostmourne? Yeah, no, probably not.
Frostmourne needs a new icon before we can talk.
What's Aragon's sword called? I guess it's pretty boring looking, actually. It's like, it's cool and all, but it is pretty generic. There's Brocco's got the Orb, Summit. Yeah, he's spotted on that ward, but looking for this flank opportunity, and he can just press R whenever he wants to. Two-man Shockwave does come through there as Battle Dance comes down, but the Cannon Barrage not exactly getting all the value, and this Drake is still alive. Down to 100, and it is going to be Peanut that picks up the Smite. Just a little bit early there from Croco, I believe. No, actually didn't have a chance to get that one down. And so that is going to be a Mountain Drake apiece, and 2 Drakes apiece, actually, for both teams. So very well done here from NONGSHIM, who still feel a little bit like they're on the back foot in this series.
Well, they're also just playing super passively because they're afraid of the style of play and the hard engage tools that Liiv Sandbox has. But at the same time, in these moments where they just play it safely and slowly, Liiv Sandbox can engage. The Shockwave wasn't that great. It wasn't able to set up for a combo. And then after that, Liiv Sandbox was like, well, I guess we just can't fight. And they gave up the Drake. And that window of lead you were talking about for Liiv Sandbox does feel like it's closing a little bit. The gap is certainly narrowing.
Peanut with
Peanut, how much has he
LGD
stolen?
representation.
He's 60 CS up right now. He's stolen so many buffs.
Yeah, Croco's really had a rough time getting too much out of his jungle. Admittedly, Peanut needs more money than Ajabin does. Like, he's just going to be a beefy boy now, so he doesn't really need a whole lot extra money, but still, it is definitely a good thing for Peanut.
He's being thrifty with those cloth armors there.
Yep, indeed. Parallel Convergence finds nothing as Peanut does still have the ulti available. Shockwave is going to be avoided there by Peanut's ultimate, but the dissonance is still going to connect, so Peanut struggling. Summits towards the bottom side, and he's getting work done here on this inner turret. As Rich can't really save this. It's really starting to get into danger zone territory when it comes to the Gangplank, who's very, very strong. He also has a very big lead.
Yeah, actually bigger than I even realized. Yeah, it's actually quite a lead he has. The other thing about Croco is that he was able to get a lot of picks done in the early game, so even though he doesn't have that much CS, he hasn't cleared that much of the jungle. He is still, he's got the most important item in the Gore Drinker, and yep, he's going to sit comfortably with that.
Warden's Mail now complete as well, and he has 100% kill contribution, so he has been exactly where he's needed to be this game. Just facilitating as best he can.
Right now, I feel like NONGSHIM, as long as they don't walk into a big shockwave team fight here around the Baron, they can slowly start to creep in and get control of this. They didn't group up though. Rich is still in the bot lane, so they can't take this away. And Peanuts, he's out there. I think they're a little bit late to set up for this one, to be honest. I think they could have, just moments before, really started to clear this out and start taking control away, but now Vision back to Liiv Sandbox around the pit.
Yep. Wave's actually equalizing in top and bottom lane, with Aatrox backing out of the way. You saw that Summit doesn't really know what he wants to get done here. Does still have teleport, so could be splitting bottom side right now, but it looks like Liiv Sandbox are gearing themselves up for this Baron fight like you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Liiv Sandbox wants to fight either around the pit itself or, you know, around the entry points, the choke points into the river. So they're kind of ping-ponging in and out to try to, you know, put themselves into that favorable position to get that value out of the CC, the Shockwave. Croco's hard engage follows up. Yep, not going to do it the opposite way. I suppose you could. It's just not going to be as good.
You can see Dr. clearing out that minion wave pretty nicely. Does actually have a gold bounty on his head, much like Fate does on the opposite side of the rift, 204 on the Orianna.
They don't have a way to clear this very quickly at the moment, so they can't really scare NONGSHIM into walking into their traps. NONGSHIM's just playing safe, and Rich is like, okay, if you guys are going to keep playing Baron Chicken, I'm just going to push bot lane and start to get some value, and then Peanut's going to clear out the ward, and suddenly NONGSHIM is starting to get ahead. They're only 400 gold behind.
Yeah, managed to pull it back actually here as Rude, he goes back, just gets a pickaxe. I was actually thinking that Hurricane might be ready, but just still has the Zeal available there, so not quite able to augment his build like he would have liked. Dr. looks like it's going to be Infinity Edge, so a little bit more greedy. Not going for the extra survivability that a Bloodthirster would give you, but will have a whole bunch of extra damage, which I am certainly all about.
Everybody's all about that in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, the side laning we saw come in from Rich and actually from Bay as well as really helped to catch up the gold deficit, and then they got Baron control back. But now the next fight is going to be over this Mountain Drake in 30 seconds.
Soul Point available for whoever picks it up as well, so this is going to be a very big deal. Peanut has had some pretty nice smites throughout his career and throughout this game so far as well. So looking forward to seeing what Croco can do to try and zone out this Echo.
Summit's way out there trying to bait, it looked like. Effort does not connect.
Yeah, it was trolled by the wall just a little bit there, not able to quite get the headbutt pulve to work correctly. It's an uncharacteristic mistake.
Entering this river is going to be really difficult, but Rich is trying to cut his way through the bot side.
Yep, Dark and Blade working out here onto Summit.
They're really well split here. It's actually really hard for the Shockwave to be the engage tool.
Yep, Dr. though, he's in trouble. Has to flash and dash to get himself out of the way. Voidseeker is going to miss him. Meanwhile, there is a fight on the upper side as Rich looks to escape, does so with the help of the Blast Cone, but now Dr. is completely zoned out of this one. Effort is going to cut him off as well. It's, oh my god, the AoE, but Kellen is going to pick up Croco, and the disengage actually works out. Good stun from Bay as Effort finds his way forward, but Dr.'s rotated around as well. Dashes in, picks up the kill with the help of Peanut. And this was so close to working for Liiv Sandbox, but it doesn't. Another kill comes through for Dr. Make that a double as he picks up the resets. And Oh, it was this close to Liiv sandbox die.
It was so well played by both sides because you have, you know, the setup there for Liiv sandbox means it's difficult to enter. On the side of NONGSHIM, watch this again. You can see Rich is trying to set the engage here. Duckdom, though, is probably not the one who wants to be with him. And if you're Liiv sandbox, you're like, okay, we have to commit on one side of things. Let's go for the bot. Let's go for the carry. We're going in for Duckdom. He gets pushed away, but it feels like, okay, now Liiv sandbox should win this fight because the damage just isn't going to be there. Then they set up for the follow-up engage here, and you see Jarvan jump in. It's beautiful. It's really nicely done, but a good flash from Bay gets him out. Then they turn around. Then they just start front-to-back team fighting here, and they turn on effort as well. And suddenly, what looked like a one-team fight for Liiv sandbox turns around completely, and that's going to be Soul Point, as you say.
Yeah, and Baron.
Baron as well.
I mean, Fate was doing so much damage, but just not enough to actually take anyone down. And I told a bit of a lie. It was the Bloodthirster that was completed in the end. You can see, still sitting on that crit cloak, just went back and decided, no, I'm going to need this survivability. And it was absolutely the best choice, because I think if he didn't have it in that last fight, he's dead.
Yeah.
Instead of being able to limp away on about 200 health. So I really, really like that decision-making. Summit's got that really cool chainsword now. So he's going to be doing a bit of extra work.
It's really, you can see the one-dimensional, unfortunately, team fight potential on the side of Liiv sandbox.
That is so many control wards. It's 15 hits. Sorry, not 15. It's 12 hits of control wards.
Yeah, you're starting to wonder, like, it's like, will they ever get through those? I guess maybe that's a strat.
Yeah, that's the strat. It wasn't a mistake, and everyone walked up to that brush and put a control ward down together.
It's actually pretty
ludicrous.
annoying to clear.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll add like a, I don't know, a rune that like helps you AoE clear wards or something later. I don't know.
I mean,
well,
you can pick up a Duskblade, I guess. You can one-shot one of them. So there you go.
This is really annoying to deal with, by the way. This Bay top push with the Baron Candyman starting to stack up. And this is not a fight that Liiv sandbox can take. They're not the type of team that can kind of cut through, flank that top lane, because they have to fight all together. That's why I was saying earlier in that one-dimensional team fight comp, even though it looked like they got Duckdom, it's just not going to work.
With a sick X-Flash instead of walking.
Oh,
that headbutt pulse does not work out. Gets stunned up, Unbreakable Will has to be used, and every time an R button's pressed, it's danger time. As Peanut eats a shockwave and ults out of it. That's actually much higher value for NONGSHIM as well, because now that shockwave's not going to be there, and it's just Cataclysm, Killer Instinct, and the Cannon Barrage. Alliteration, yes, but value together, not as much without the shockwave.
Certainly not. And that's the really annoying thing that that Liiv sandbox can't. There's not much they could do with this unless they can use those together.
Ooh, Summit actually taking the worst end of that trade as Bay.
Yeah.
He's going to get on over here. Ulti comes out. Does find the stun there as well, but oranges do mean that Summit will be K's. Now cannon barraging the bottom side. There's Croco getting taken down dangerously low. There's the Cataclysm. He will be dying, but oh my god, Duckdom! So much AoE damage. I think he tanks some turret shots, but it does not matter. He's slicing everyone apart. This is what we were talking about with the Aatrox and this Samira. And it looks beautiful when it works, as Rich is looking to take down Summit here as well. He says that everything's okay. I do like that. Thank you very much, Ramus, for helping us out on that one. Stun comes forward, the flash comes in, and Rich shows us why his Aatrox is so devastating, while the rest of NONGSHIM are taking down the base. But this was a really, really fun game between both of these teams. I think that we have a much closer series on our hands than I think a few people could have assumed.
Yeah. I mean, I think my theory is going to be 2-0, but both games would be close, right? And this is one of those close games. But once again, Liiv sandbox, as they lose their Nexus here in the first game, showcasing that there's more to Croco than just the Nidalee Olaf. There's a little bit more diversity that can be shown. Yep. But still stuck on the Alistair comp, still stuck on wombo combos in the late game. And it was beautifully played by Duckdom. He gets a Samira, he has the shield bow, builds survivability with the Bloodthirster, and if you can't kill him and you're going to commit all your resources to doing so, eventually you lose that team fight, even though we had the great Jarvan ult follow-up.
Yeah.
the sick flash from Bay to get out of there.
And also, like, Croco was way too far behind at the end, so he just wasn't as tanky as he needed to be. So the Samira eats through him, and then those resets start to come forward, where she's just dashing around the fight with a big old circle around her, destroying everyone. And just not going to take enough damage as well with the Immortal Shield Bow, which is so ridiculous, especially paired up with things like the Bloodthirster. And having some cool shoes with some metal on them. So really, really nicely done here by NONGSHIM. I think Rich finally got some redemption at the end as well, as he gets this huge shield, and then him and Dr. destroy everyone.
Yeah, this was a very nasty team fight, showcasing once again the power of Samira and what she can do when she gets shield bow.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I mean, we said it earlier in the game too, like, okay, he died, and this time he tried to go in, he went into the shockwave, but he gets shield bow later, and then suddenly it's a totally different story. A lot of other things changed in the game as well. We saw NONGSHIM playing way better around those combos, playing safe. Rich's flanks actually made it so, especially on that Dragon Pit fight that we keep referencing, they came from two sides, right, which forces the 5-man team that has to kind of hard engage one way or the other to choose a side. They choose the Duck-Dumb side because it seems like, okay, if we kill him.
I mean, yeah, that was the best way to do it as well. They caught him out of position. Duck-Dumb shouldn't have been there, actually. He was just going for an aggressive flank to try and, you know, get things started. Didn't work out, and I thought that that was where we were going to see Liiv Sandbox pick up a victory, but they were just too slow getting that hard engage working, and unfortunately, Fate just never did enough damage to kill them. He was really strong this game on the Orianna, but just didn't quite have enough to, you know, grab those 3-man shockwaves into kills.
Yeah, it has to be a kill, because if it's not a kill, then people live and they walk away, and then Samira does everything else.
If they don't die, they're not dead.
And that means they are the killers, and they kill you. I mean, if you don't get those picks, then everything just turns around on its head instantly.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite work out. So Fate just not quite ahead enough. He did actually have a decent game, but I just feel like, you know, we could have pushed the envelope a little bit further forward. I think some of the cannon barrages from Summit might have been a little bit too hasty as well. I do like cannon barrage used to zone in a comp like this. However, when it's not available, it does mean that NONGSHIM have so much more power in, you know, dictating how these things go. Plus, shout out to Peanut, had a great game on the Echo. It's just so good having him back.
Yeah, it is, and he was able to just roam around and take everything. The entire map belonged to him the entire time.
Yeah.
He was stealing. He was smite stealing the scuttle crabs. He was taking red. He was taking blue. He was taking away.
He was even taking their own blue.
Yeah.
You know, like Bay didn't get one. It was all going to Peanut. He was the hard carry. Had himself his cool Lich Bane, and then I think after that item was built, was really chunking people. You saw him fighting against Summit, actually winning out on those trades. Probably shouldn't have, because Summit had been farming very, very well. But the gangplank didn't quite work when it came to team fighting. I think the barrel chains weren't really there either. And in the end, NONGSHIM, I think it was just a war of attrition. They just kept being aggressive. They kept finding, you know, their picks and their moments, and it worked out very, very well. That Dragon fight into Baron, into pretty elementary style of victory, which is exactly what you want to see in a team that is trying to coordinate themselves and get up to an LCK level as quickly as possible. I think this is a good example of moving in the right direction for NONGSHIM Red Force. It's a team that I think we should all have our eyes on.
I think that, you know, we're seeing from Liiv Sandbox a little bit of evolution, a little bit more flexibility already in this first game. And even though we did see Alistair again, it was not the Renekton top Alistair bot. It got banned away from them, but they still looked like they could figure out how to draft into a strong composition regardless.
Well, these are going to be the highlights here. And some of the early picks, Effort's early roams as well, looked really, really good. You saw why the Alistair was such high priority. But Liiv Sandbox, they got a slight lead and then weren't quite able to get it over the line afterwards.
Yeah, it's a compositional problem, I think, for the late game too. You know, I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse with this, but their comp doesn't have the ability. Like, there's nothing like a Samira on the other on their side, Liiv Sandbox's side, to win these long fights.
Yeah.
So, you know, in this case, this is right before he got his Immortal Shield Bow, and he went into a Shockwave. See how that can be very annoying to play before you get to that big power spike. Once they got that, there was just no way to kill him, because he, minus that one mistake in the bot lane where he still lived, or in the Dragon Pit, I should say, where he still lived, he was too well positioned. And then what are you doing with your comp anymore at that point? You're just hoping that they're going to make mistakes if you Liiv Sandbox.
Yeah, and you're hoping your bouncy castle is actually going to get some kills. As you saw, Kellen limps away from this fight. You know, Peanut lasts for a lot longer than you would have otherwise expected. The cannon barrage is a little bit out of sync with everything else, and then Bay picks up the very high-value sphere that collects that double kill. And this was really where things started to turn, right? As the engage is on to, you know, Rich and Doctarm. They decide to go all in on trying to kill Doctarm, but he stays alive. He's got the Immortal Shield Bow, he's got the Bloodthirster, he gets out, and then Effort tries to zone him from this. But in the end, he starts trying to engage a little bit too early, and it was just slightly misaligned here from Liiv Sandbox.
Effort he's not tanky enough. He's level 10. He's a support. He's at the bot trying to turn this around somehow. But even if he were able to get it, even if we were able to get a nice headbutt and try to isolate someone, where would the damage be? I mean, Root's off at the side. He's not going to be able to do that much. There's no big burst. There's no sustainable engage there anymore. And like I said before, it was a front-to-back team fight. This is the last fight of the game here. You can see Kellen making some big plays as well, actually, setting up some charms through that team fight. But Duck Dom is just going to have a good time. Resets all over the place, flying around. So I don't know what to call it. I almost want to say helicopter, but we've already used that for a lot of champions.
Beyblade's
yeah,
a good one.
Yeah, I like that. I like that term as well.
Yep.
Well, there you have it.
It's a lot of cannon barrage damage, but unfortunately that doesn't win you games. And of course, Rich was taking a beating throughout the majority of this one. It's what happens when there's a dude with a pistol and you just got a sword. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back very, very shortly with game number 2. Liiv Sandbox still have a chance. See you after the break.